What's going on, Fortnite fan? The Global Championship is probably one of the best events in Fortnite history. And already we're back home and have to hit the ground running because Duos is here. They already announced the upcoming roadmap for competitive, and Duos is a main focal point. Eval finals have already changed. The map has a little bit of tweaks. Duos are now starting to officially announce themselves. There's so much to break down in this video. Let's get right into the mix. The Global Championship was absolutely crazy. 11,000 plus tickets sold out all the way through that arena. Gentlemates Havoc made sure that make that one of the most memorable events in the history of the game. And I gotta agree, if you guys haven't already seen the short, check this one out.
The moment right here, Swizzy goes down. Her stash has fallen. It is all up to Queasy and Taco. There are more than enough points still left on the board for them to overtake the first place spot, but they have to survive. Vanya goes down. Marius is gonna have to pump that stove. She said reunite with Pixie.
But where's Queasy? Pixie and Marius, they're so incredibly low. They're not gonna be able to save Vanya. They'll at least get everything that he had to offer at the final moment. But Marius, Pixie, as a duo, they've gotta find Queasy. They don't know where he's gone off to. Steady in the road ramp. Marius and Pixie are careful. He might run smack dab into the center of where all the congestion is building at. But they're crash padding up. They're trying to get back on the right. They know what is in front of them, and they want to take it by force.
They already have second place locked in. It's all or nothing. Down goes BHC, but no! Marius is now down as well. Pixie with the pressure on his shoulders. You gotta remember though, Queasy is down. They are 50 points shy. He needs to win, but he gets denied. Mustache, Queasy, and Swizzy have done it.
It was the final moment. It was going to be so bittersweet, no matter the outcome for the Gentlemates here, Jacob. But Queasy has finally overcome. The GOAT debate has been settled. He is the GOAT of Fortnite when it comes to IG yelling and as a player in general. And he's got two GOATs with him in Swizzy and Mustache.
But there's still hundreds of thousands of dollars split between these teams still left alive. A good chunk of them at the top of the leaderboard, including Pablo, who's trying to have that solo round, but that one gets ended and rather quickly as he's by himself. Dalicetti and Yapko, they're one of three teams left alive. Panzer's trying to move in, 20 HP. He's quickly running out of builds. Seti as well, but he's going to go out. Cammy, his invitational partner, Abandon again. He ends his show. He said, no, you will not pass me. You will not take my money. As Cooper and Curly are still down below. 2v3 situation, 3v1. I drop Dari and Cammy in the final game of the day.
It was so hard to hear in that building, even with the headset on, trying to drown out some of the crowd, but being able to put on a show, being able to be a part of that, I think was an experience I'm going to take with me forever. But it's already over. The Global Championship is done, and there's already some changes coming into the map and to some of these teams and games. And we're going to go ahead and talk about some of the changes in the most recent update. And the first one I'm going to talk about is the medallion changes. There's a few of them, so don't get lost. Stay with me here. Now, the Rangers Ruin medallion has now been switched up, similar to Demon's Debris and Dystopia. There's a little split drop just west of Demon's Debris that now has a chance for 50-50, just like Rangers Ruin for that medallion. So now there's two different medallions where it's a 50-50 spot on the map. The Hive one will remain untouched, and that's why one of our star teams, duos that I'm going to talk about later, it says we're going to drop there no matter what happens. And another change coming to those medallions is now, before you can kind of stack these medallions, carry 2, carry 3, but now you can only carry 1 medallion at a time. And all of those drop spots with the medallions, the swarm stashes, they have kind of been nerfed. No longer will they be dropping extra heals, loot, and resources. It's just ammunition. So I think a lot of those mythic POI drops with the medallions have been nerfed, and I do like that overall because it helps. Some of the outskirts POIs, some of the POIs that might not be as good, just became even better. And even some are talking about that some of the best POIs in the game now are no longer mythic POIs, OXRHQ being one of them. So you got to start to think when you're picking this drop spot, whether you're playing the solo series or duos, where do you drop? Is that medallion worth it? I know Canyon's Crossing is probably one of the #1 non-mythic POI that a lot of teams are looking at. You saw Veno land there at the Global Championship with his trio. Koyota, Ruma, and Rise landed there from Asia in their trio. So I think it's going to be one of the spots that some teams will be worth fighting for at the end of the day. With the changes to the medallions, the POIs, and a little bit around the map, Duo Trials is just around the corner, but most importantly, the solo series. This is one tournament I'm super excited about, even though some people might look at it as the prize pool for the 6 weeks may not be the best. It's 6 weeks. Your 4 best weeks is what actually counts, and your top 100 players will reach that finals lobby. So if you're not in it for the money, I'm looking at who the up-and-comers, who the superstars of this solos is going to be. Obviously, you're looking at some of our veteran players, the Peterbots, the Muzzes, the Yamzos, the Clicks, to try to make it into the top, even Pollo as well. But I'm looking at some of those names, those up-and-comers that really want a chance to prove themselves and maybe even get a top 10 to where teams are going to start to look at you. Is this the next coming player that I need to look at? And that's why I'm excited for solos. Plus, you're going to get some of that money at the end of the day if you're able to make it to that finals lobby. So if you're somebody, whether you're in it for prize money or just trying to get your shot, I'm going to be watching a ton of the solo series on stream to see which players make that finals lobby. And then I'm going to be casting that finals lobby just like in FNCS on my stream. Probably be uploading some highlights for that when that does happen. But the solo series, to me, especially after FNCS Globals, going into a whole new mode where clutches actually matter just a little bit more in duos than they did in trios, this is a perfect shot to prove that, hey, I'm a fragger. I can pick up the pace. I can get key eliminations and refreshes when it matters most. But the duo trials, I want to talk about that one as well. If you are Division 1 already, if you already played in the heats, if you already played in a divisional finals, you will stay in Division 1. You will not have access to the duo trials. Everyone else will then have to play through the duo trials, but listen carefully, you do not make Division 1. The highest you could make out of the trials is Division 2, and then you got to go through the divisional weeks to get into Division 1. So this is your best chance to get into that Division 2 and eventually move up, because remember, on Central and EU this season, there are 5 divisions. Every other region is going to remain the same with 3, but you don't want to end up in Division 5 and 4 and your whole season up trying to get into Division 1, and by the time you get there, tournaments may or may not be over. So make sure you guys play in that Duo Trials Cup. I'm going to be watching that one as well. I'm going to be watching as many tournaments as I can this season and seeing which players are obviously the best, but which up-and-comers, which rookies, which players deserve that spotlight at the end of the day. So make sure you guys, if you have any questions about solos or Duo Trials, post them in the comments below and I'll answer them for sure. Now that Globals is over though, the duos have now started to form. Some official after that eval finals, some might not be so much, but I'm excited for this because I talked about, obviously earlier in the same video, the clutches are going to be out of this world insane. But the first duo really kind of announced itself at the Global Championship when the whole thing got announced was Peterbot and Pollo. They are landing over at the Hive. During this eval finals, it wasn't necessarily the most impressive. Pollo was on 60 ping. Peterbot wasn't taking his most serious, so they did not qualify for the finals. But I expect this duo to kind of leave or pick up where they left off last time duos around our Global Championship. They probably should have never split 4 trios. Can you imagine if it was Peterbot Cold and Pollo going down, or Peterbot Agers and Pollo going into the Global Championship? I think that could have shaken things up, but this is what I'm excited about because Peterbot said it himself. Not only is Pollo one of the players that complements him the best and knows his playstyle and they know how to make it work, Peterbot is so confident in Pollo's off spawn, so now they can start to alpha up with full confidence every one of these top POIs, which is an example of the Hive. Another team I'm excited about, though, is the Elite Boys. Both the Yamzo and Agers have gone together to form the Elite Duo into this mix, and this is one that's already shown up. They played the eval finals in opens. They got first place overall, almost doubling everybody's eliminations with over 100, including a 39 elimination win, which you can watch on this channel as well. And that ended with a huge solo clutch by Agers, which was crazy to watch. All that content can be found here on this channel. Let me know what you guys think. But Cold and Ritual, they're going to be contesting the duo of Iamzo and Aegis over at Demon's Debris, or at least for now. I don't know how much practice Ritual is going to be able to get with Cold, but I do think this, without practice, with practice, this is going to be a strong duo and a force to be reckoned with overall. Another one to talk about is Clix and Higgs. We didn't get to see them perform in the eval finals. Clix was kind of helping celebrate the launch of the Kaisa Nat skin, which you can kind of see here, and it was a 1v1 first to 100 99 elimination lead for Kaisa Nat. Of course, Clix closed that one out, but we saw Higgs play with Oliver OG, and Higgs being the IGL for this duo, he had a chance to win a game, just unfortunately I think he fell asleep just a little bit, forgot to build, ended up tossing that one away. Maybe he wanted his first win to be with Clix, his actual duo partner, who knows, but that's another duo I'm excited to see. Huge fan of the former Batman Booga, now known as Higgs, coming from the West region, so I'm excited to see how they can perform. Another duo, G Money and Rise, I'm excited to see them. Booga and Craze, there's a lot of experience and firepower, rapid in threats. They've showed they could fight with a lot of teams in the eval finals. I just want to see them play them end games just a little bit more smoothly, close them out, try to execute into a victory royale, especially in those eval final formats. Also, Kanata and Arc, the #1 team right here. I'm excited to watch Arc, probably one of the best players to come out of the NA West region in quite a long time, maybe outside of Victor V, who's also teaming with Paper. But Arc, I said, if he is going to get better at this game, if he is going to be the next up-and-coming player, he needs to get out of the West region, as sad as that sounds, and I'm glad him and Kanata are taking the chance, taking the risk. Kanata playing the support IGL role for this team, and I think there's a lot for Arc to learn, and I think they could fight the way out of almost any situation, so excited for them. Acorn and Bolts did not perform so well in the eval finals, but this is a duo. Remember, Bolts is a DreamHack solo champion. Acorn, well, his accolades kind of speak for themselves. Maybe just a little bit of an off day, trying to get things going, maybe trying to W key, but they just didn't get into that finals lobby, so that's kind of where we stopped off, not being able to see more from them after that. And then we got Re and Curve. Even though Miro and Curve played together overall in the eval finals, it's going to be Re and Curve playing together, and this is one where it's King Re at that, kind of going together in a better format, a better game mode that I think kind of suits Reet just a little bit more than Trios, even though he was actually kind of doing pretty good, the Global Championship, all things considered, all jokes and memes aside. Another duo, Baka and Pars. This has to be probably the longest reigning duo that we have in the game right now, and if you think back and you look at all their placements to when Central actually became a region and formed, they were one of the most consistent duos. They even won a game yesterday in the eval finals, while I think on 30 plus 60 ping, something like that, to where it wasn't even necessarily piece control and fighting that they wanted. It was just smarts and have that chemistry together to win that game. And I just kind of want to see how they perform on the Western region. Maybe they go over to Central for FNCS, who knows, but that's a team that I'm always going to be a fan of them, coming from NA West, and I want to kind of see how they kind of close out this duo kind of thing that they have going on for this season. That's the main ones I'm going to talk about for NA. I'm not going to be looking at too many of the drop spots, because you guys know those will change up as the season does go on. But let me know what you guys think of the Global Championship, the solo series, the duo trials, the nerfs and buffs that came to the map overall, and these duos. I'm going to be reading these comments, maybe even replying to some below, but let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, like, comment, subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. Adios.